Welcome back, guys. In today's video we're going to be removing some very old, very seized and very difficult suspension bushes. We are not going to be using a press and we are not going to be using any special tools. Let's go and take a look. Now then, I've already done the other side and I've developed a few techniques along the way that is going to make it a hell of a lot easier if you're trying to remove some very old, worn out suspension bushes. Now, the fact that I've got the old ones out, it means that we can have a look inside of them, see what they're made of, and then formulate a little bit of a plan to make things a hell of a lot easier moving forward. So let's have a quick look at what we've got to remove. The rear suspension arms on Project MR2. We have this bush, which is extremely difficult to get out. We have this bush, which is pretty difficult to get out. And we have this bush, which is nigh on impossible. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this bush. We'll talk more at the end as to why we're replacing every suspension bush on the car with poly. Now then, this bush here, which is the easy one, we've got a sleeve that's going through the middle, which has got a little bit of a boss in it, and luckily this bush is in two parts. So let's head over to the bench and see what we can do to get this easier one of the three removed. The first thing we can try, after we've lubricated everything, and we can pop that one in there. We can try a few sharp blows. And as if by magic, she's out. And so is her mate. But as I say, that is the easy one. This one is an absolute pig, so we're going to leave this one till last. Right, this is the one off the other side, and these are the ends of it. These are the little bits that you see here, and this metal piece is what you see here. Now, when you've got these rubber bits on the end, these are bigger than the internal bore. So, there are two ways to remove it. We can remove the inner sleeve by bashing away on top of that. I've tried that. It don't work. So, what we propose to do, pop that one to one side. And here's what I made earlier. We're going to get a junior hacksaw and we are going to cut into the bush until we get down to the metal. We're going to cut all the way round, and then we're going to get a Stanley knife and we're going to trim that off. We're then going to be left with this metal piece, which is proud. Now if we can work with that we will, but we may get an angle grinder and lop that off level with the arm, and the same on the bottom, because then that makes it about 10mm shorter, which is 10mm less wide that our vise will need to go when we move on to stage number 2. That stinks. Now that that's all cut off, we can add a little bit of lube. The next thing we're going to use is a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, because that fits inside of here really nicely. So we're going to get our 1/2 to 3/8 adapter. Ooh, smoky. And we're going to wind it inside of our bush. We are then going to get our 36mm socket, and we're going to pop it on the end of here, and then we're going to wind it up in the vise and see if we can get it tight enough to start it moving and start to break the rubber down. And then we'll move on to the next step. Now we can see we've got a little bit of movement now, so that has started to do something. Hopefully it's broken a little bit of that seal, because remember on this one all we've got is rubber on metal, plain sleeve through the middle, plain rubber, and this outer body is plain as well. Now then, the next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to give it a big old whack. Vise nice and tight, and in theory the fact that this has moved a little bit, when we give it a whack with a bit of lube on it, it should go. And then we can pop an extension on the end of there, like that, and that is the medium difficulty one complete. We now need to move on to the one that is an utter pig, and I've saved it to last for a reason. Now then, let's look at what we've got inside of the most difficult one that you will have to remove. You can see when you peel it back, see that metal? That is wider than the diameter of the hole, so unless you get that out of the way, you're not going to win that game. I promise you, you're not going to win. Right, let's get the angle grinder out and then carefully work our way into here, through the metal sleeve, through the inner sleeve, zip, and then we can have a look inside. There we go, exactly the same. Obviously we've got our inner sleeve, ooh, she's warm, and then we've got our outer metal sleeve. Now in theory, what we can do is we can get our best mate, the 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, start him on his journey into there, whip the vise open, and again wind it all the way in, and then socket wise the 36 just about will support the arm and let the bush glide inside of it. So let's try again. That is on its way out, I promise you. Now then, shorter extension, big hammer. Told you this was the worst one. result. Whew. So there we go. That was a little bit easier, wasn't it? Considering when I did it yesterday, that took me over an hour trying to work out what bush I had and how it went together and where to hit it and what to do. But hopefully that little guide will make your life a hell of a lot easier. Now that was Mark 1 MR2 rear suspension bushes. I would expect the front bushes to be give or take the same, and this may pass on to lots of other cars of the 80s and 90s. I don't know, but hopefully you found it very helpful. That all in took 23 minutes, which I think is not too bad. Now then, bushes to the side, that's all sorted. They can be stripped and cleaned and painted. Why, oh why, have I removed all of the suspension on Project MR2 at the rear? The answer is because I was hoping to just put a set of rear brake pads in the car, shake the wheels around a little bit and just walk off and start putting bolt on nice little bits on the car, but that is not the case. We had a wheel bearing gone on the driver's side, so I've got a good second-hand hub on its way. That's arriving soon. And I've got a polybush kit for the whole car, front and rear. So if I get the time after the MOT, fingers crossed, we're very close, we can go polybush on the front and then get the forward alignment set up for the whole vehicle, because everything's nice and clean and greased and ready to move around. It should handle incredibly well. So there we go, guys. I didn't think I was going to see you until exhaust and spark plugs distributor cap, but I have. Nice to see you. Have a lovely couple of days. I'm going to start painting and reassembling, and we're getting closer every time. Apart from this massive setback, which we've overcome. See you soon.